one was the original.
Yeah, it's just the one in the film Jaime here.
That's right. That is the next one.
Yeah, I coming.
This one.
You let me in. Just I step back in.
That's all right.
Just a film.
No problem.
That he's from New Mexico.
Ah!
Jaime Maussan. It's Mexican 60-minute drive.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's him.
Ah! I've seen him on TV before.
Yeah, it's him. That belongs to our group.
You speak Spanish?
Yeah, and English.
I speak Spanish.
Jaime on our Captain Cruse. Jaime, have a good time. Have a good trip, Jaime.
My body, come on.
I go in here.
That's right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Grab a chair, grab a chair.
That will be good.
Travel around this afternoon. On behalf of our captain and crew, we do welcome you aboard. Some announcements for your comfort and for your safety. If you're looking for the toilets, they're downstairs, so 2 flights of stairs will take you to. The smoking is permitted, but only on the outside decks if you aren't wet. Where we are at the moment is called 6-7, and it was he who authorised the first fleet to leave England and come to this land. Captain Phillips sailed into this harbour in January 1788, looking for somewhere safe to anchor his fleet. He chose this location for its access to fresh water and its 10-metre deep, protected harbour. It was on the 26th of January 1788 that he planted a flag and declared this to be a British colony. That's the day that we celebrate as Australia Day. Originally we called it Anniversary Day. The area is also called Circular Quay. Its original name was Semicircular Quay for its semicircular shape. We like to abbreviate things, so to most locals this would be called the Quay. As you wander around, there are markers showing where the shoreline was back in 1788, as well as 1844. We're on a boat, so therefore we have no left. We now have port, that is the left-hand side as you face the bar, and on our starboard side, that's the right-hand side. Up ahead on our port side, you'll notice our bridge. I'll talk about its construction on our return, but you may notice some people up there climbing the arch. It takes 3.5 hours from the time you start until you finish. You walk underneath the roadway, past the first pylon, climb some stairs, make your way up the eastern arch, cross where the flags are, come back down. You get to be 134 metres above sea level with great views of the city. In case you're curious, there's 1,439 steps. Notice, stairs. There's more paces than that, but just in terms of steps, that's how many steps you walk when you do bridge climb. You can walk across the span. You are 50 metres above sea level, giving you views of the city as well. Just ahead on our starboard side, we have the most visited tourist attraction in Australia. This is the Sydney Opera House, with construction beginning in 1959. They thought it would take 4 years to build at a cost of $7 million. They thought wrong. Lottery ticket to New South Wales. And it took us just within 18 months of opening for the debt to be repaid. There's over 1,000 rooms, and when you want to make that sound good, you'll need to count toilets as individual rooms. Most toilets, think just one. The largest room is the first one we cruise past. You can see 2,679 people. It is the concert hall. On the left-hand side is the busiest opera theatre in the world. You see 1,547 people. There's also 3 intimate drama theatres. There's over 1 million shell-shaped tiles on the roof. These are small and colours of cream and white. From a distance, the opera house will just glisten one colour, but up close you can make out the individual tiles. And the colours were chosen to always give a 3-dimensional appearance. If you get the opportunity, find a view of the opera house you like, and go to that spot a few times. You'll be surprised how much it does appear to change in your photographs when you get them developed. Different times of the day, different days, does appear to give it a different appearance. The designer, he's still alive, he's only 90. He's moved back to his homeland of Denmark. His name is Jurnalist. He's never been inside the completed work because he left all those years ago during the controversy of its construction, but he's overseeing the refurbishment of the interior now using the technology of the internet. Speaking to the women on board, the nicest public toilets you'll find around Sydney are in the Opera House, and they're free. On our starboard side, we have Farm Cove. This was the site of the first successful farm in the colony. It didn't last here very long. They found better soil further out west. In 1816, 30 hectares of land was allocated as a gardens for Sydney, now called our Royal Botanic Gardens. They got the title in 1954 when Queen Elizabeth II made her first ever visit to Sydney. She was our first reigning monarch to come down and visit us. She's been the only reigning monarch to come down and visit us. She's still reigning after 54 years. She made her last visit to Sydney back in March. They say it will be her final visit. She's made 15 visits during her reign. She was 80 2 weeks ago, so they don't think she'll come down and visit us again. You can wander around the gardens, you can sit on the grass, you can hug a tree, you can just spend some time there. 75 acres. On our port side, we have a rock that turned into a fort. When it was a rock, it was where the male convicts were sent when they misbehaved. They were sent there as punishment. Part of their punishment was not being fed. So when they came off, they said they were so hungry that they tried to find their stomach, but it had gone because the island had pinched it. So they called it a pinch cut. Became a fort after an incident with the United States in 1839, and I'll talk about that on our return. On our starboard side, Garden Island. If you'd like to visit it, you can. It is high security, so if you go where you're not allowed to be, they will quickly send you back. Catch a ferry there, get off and wander around. There is a coffee shop. There is a heritage centre. We're not allowed to call it a museum because the Navy is still alive. Our first ship of our fleet, with our fleet starting in 1911, was a torpedo vessel, HMAS Parramatta. She was commissioned in 1910 and it deceased with a memorial. So they found the bow, scrubbed it back and placed it to the left of the wharf with Garden Island. Wander around and have a look at the memorials. Nice spot to wander. You can see the size of the original island before a lot of it was reclaimed. Having tea, coffee, muffins and biscuits about halfway through the cruise once we pass the entrance to the harbour. Sometimes it's a little bit bumpy or lumpy, so once we go into the calmer waters, we'll serve the tea and the coffee. There is a bar on board though, so if you want to purchase anything, we've got Camille or Mark, or even Charlie who'll be happy to look after you. Today on our starboard
The Royal Botanic Garden.
It's called Rush Cutter's Bay because 2 rush cutters were killed here in the early days of the colony. What's a rush cutter? When it comes to things, it's those doors. It was sold in 1948 to the US Consul. They used it for many years until the late 1980s. It's now a private residence with views across the harbour. On our port side we have an island. This island is called Clark Island, named after Lieutenant Clark from the First Fleet. Lieutenant Clark grew vegetables here successfully, but he got frustrated with the convicts. And that's because the convicts used to swim across and steal his potatoes. He told them there were sharks in the harbour. Guess what they did? They looked and said, "You're lying," so they continued to steal his food.